Welcome back to AKC Style, the place for figure skaters who want to learn how to skate their hearts out, compete at their highest potential, and spend as much time practicing their inner work as they spend physically training on the ice. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Toe Picks Happen podcast with Coach Ashleigh. I'm your host, Ashleigh, and today I'm sharing with you, today I'm sharing with you a throwback episode, and this is from a 4-part series that I did last summer about reframing your mindset. I started that series because I had a lot of skaters who had been working with me privately who felt really burnt out from the previous skating season. There were a lot of events back to back the previous season. There was a lot of testing. Things were moving really fast. And by the end of the 23-24 season, a lot of my skaters felt really burnt out and they wanted to find a way to manage their schedule and their life a little bit better going into this next season. So I'm sharing this first episode with you from my Reframe Your Mindset playlist because I think it will help you if you're feeling like you're in a place of being a little stuck, or maybe you've been trying really hard and that's leading to a lot of overthinking. It could also help you if you feel like your results aren't matching the amount of effort that you're putting in. That happens a lot in skating. It's totally normal. That doesn't make it less frustrating at all, but it is normal. So in this episode 12 for Toe Picks Happen podcast, we are going to talk about doing some breath work. I'm going to give you a couple examples of how to do that. We're going to talk about how stretch classes help and help me skate better and also help my teammates skate better. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about overcoming your fear of jumping. And as you're listening to this, if anything that I mentioned sounds familiar to you and it resonates, please let me know in the comments. I'm here to support you as a figure skating coach. I want to also be able to know a little bit about what kind of struggles you may be having in skating, whether it's about a specific jump. I share my story about my flip jump here in this episode as well. I just love to support skaters. So let me know in the comments if you could relate to this episode, anything I talked about in it. And then, of course, make sure that you like and subscribe this episode. If this is something that you feel compelled to share as well, make sure you share it with a fellow figure skating friend. All right, so that's enough for me. I hope you really enjoy episode 12, and I'll see you in the next episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about reframing your mindset, and we're going to specifically start talking about why you may feel like you need a reset. When I talk to some of you lately, especially in the last month or so, many of you are talking about feeling exhausted after last season and you want things to be different going into next season than it was previously. And you're really feeling a little bit of burnout in your body, you're feeling burnout in your mind, you're just tired thinking about the season ahead instead of feeling like you have a clean slate and feeling excited about it. So today we're going to talk about how you can reset and reasons why you might feel like you need a reset. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my own story and how I know I can help you with this, and we're going to also walk away with some things that'll help you get unstuck right now. So you might be feeling like you need a reset because you're feeling stagnant in your training. So as you're working through your practices, maybe you're having difficulty with your toe loop, and you can do your toe loop, it looks okay, it's passable, but it doesn't look the way that you want it to. So you're doing everything that you can every session to try to make it better, and it just doesn't seem to be improving. You just don't feel the progression. Or, maybe you're doing everything possible to get better, but the results just aren't where you want them to be. So you're taking multiple classes a week, you're working with different coaches throughout the week, you're working with somebody off ice, maybe you have a personal trainer, maybe you have another activity outside of skating that you do to help you get better in your flexibility, like dance or yoga or something. And every time you get back on the ice, it just doesn't feel like you're getting any better. I have skaters who might be stuck on a certain spin, and they've been doing this spin over and over again. They're getting all the corrections from all the different coaches. Maybe it's your scratch spin, and you're looking up information online and you're trying to find all the different tips that can help you get better in your scratch spin, but you just can't seem to get the spin where it needs to be. Maybe every time you go into it, you travel. No matter how much you try, you're not getting better. You're not seeing the results that you want. Or maybe, you're watching everybody around you get exactly what you want, and it's just maddening, and you get really frustrated with yourself because you feel like the answers are there and other people are getting the answers that you have access to, but it's not working for you. That's incredibly frustrating. And then maybe you're even feeling like you need a reset because you're overthinking everything. And then that's making you become super critical of yourself, which really isn't helpful at all. That's something that I see a lot with skaters and something that I've experienced myself too. That kind of like information overload. And then you just start overthinking everything. And then now you're just judging yourself constantly before somebody else criticizes you. That's a really hard place to be. So we need to work together to reframe our mindset and get out of this stuck place. We have to reset and wipe the slate clean. So I know all about this because I've had several experiences myself where I felt where I was stuck in my training, where I wasn't sure where my skating was going to go, where I wanted to take it, and I had to really figure out how to move forward or to maybe quit skating and then not move forward. So I'm going to share with you a couple stories that'll help you kind of relate to where I'm at, and maybe you'll take something from it too. So when I started skating, I progressed pretty quickly from the time that I started taking private lessons and competing until probably maybe like 5th grade. So at that point I had been skating for, I don't know, maybe like 7 years or so, because I started when I was 3. So, I had skated quite a lot, but I had gotten to the place where I was almost ready to pass freestyle 4, but I was stuck on the flip jump. So if any of you have tried a flip jump, you'll know it's a jump that you take off from your toe pick. And for me, I always struggled with my toe jumps more than my edge jumps. So your edge jumps are like your loop jump, your sal cow, even like your waltz jump. But my toe jumps, like my toe loop and my flip jump, I really struggled with. And my flip jump was just something I could never quite master. Like I would 2-foot it. I would under rotate it. I would fall. Like I just couldn't get this jump no matter how hard I tried. It was so difficult for me. I didn't understand why I couldn't get this jump. I would ask different coaches things. I was in all of the different classes that my rink offered. Anytime that there was ice time, I would practice and I'd work on my flip jump, and I would just do it over and over and over again. I would fall. I would 2-foot it. I would under rotate it every single time. It was incredibly frustrating. And I don't mean just for like a couple weeks or a couple months. I mean years. Like it took me years to land my flip jump. I was already starting to work on harder jumps, and I still didn't have my flip consistent. It was incredibly difficult. And the thing that was even more difficult for me with my flip jump was seeing everybody else around me who wasn't at that same freestyle level as me when I first learned my flip jump pass me, land their flip jump, and then also work on their axle and start working on their double jumps, like working on stuff from freestyle 5 and 6. And I still hadn't mastered this stupid flip jump. Like I would get so upset after practice because my friends were doing things I couldn't do, or we would do group numbers and show numbers, and we'd want to work on our own number together for the show, and they would want to put in the flip or other jumps, and I couldn't do it. And I just felt sad. I felt like really depressed about it, and I didn't really want to skate anymore. But one day, what changed everything for me was going to a public skating session, and I had like 3 hours of ice time. My mom dropped me off at the rink, and I stayed and I skated. And then one of my friends came to the rink. He was older than me, and our moms were friends. And my mom had told his mom that I was really struggling with my flip and I was thinking about quitting skating. So when he saw me practicing, he really wanted to help me because he didn't want me to quit. And we worked together for maybe like 30 minutes or so. And that changed everything because he was so encouraging, and he just did everything he possibly could to help me land this jump. And that's exactly what happened after working with him. I landed the jump, and I hadn't landed it cleanly in a really long time. So, that confidence of landing the jump and knowing that I could do it, but also like having him be so encouraging to me. And he was a really good skater. He was a very high level skater. So also having his attention and his expertise like really made me feel good that I was able to land it. And like I just got an immediate confidence boost. And it changed everything for me. And then suddenly I started to get all my jumps. Like I was like nailing them after that. Just after that one little session with him. And it changed everything. Just having that encouragement meant a lot for me. So, I think that story for me is something that I think back on all the time, because I think now when I teach my skaters how to do a flip jump, like, why was this so difficult for me? It was like I was so in my head about it. It didn't make any sense why I was so in my head about it, but I was really stuck. So like his encouragement, persistence, coming up with different ways to help me train it, and just keep practicing. But also like I got stuck for so long because I was discouraged and I was really critical of myself. I was beating myself up about it, and at one point it felt easier to walk away than it would to just try to like keep being persistent and eventually get it. So if you're struggling with any kind of move out there, any element or anything in your life that feels like you think it's easier to walk away than it would be to maybe come back and think about it in a different light, or maybe from a different point of view than you were previously, or maybe even the one you think of now. I hope that like listening to these mindset episodes in the future will help you and help you figure out kind of like what your next steps might look like. So I have way more stories to share with you going forward, but for today, I'll end it here. And I hope that these episodes help you get unstuck. But before I let you go, there are 2 things that I think you can start doing today that'll really help you move towards the unstuckness that you're feeling and help you as you start your reset. So the first thing is stretching. Now, you don't have to come up with a whole stretching routine and have like a 25-minute thing where you're like doing this every day. Like eventually you'll work up to that. But for now, I want you to just set a timer on your phone to help you remind yourself to get up and move around. So even if it's just bending down and touching your toes, coming up super slow so that your head's the last thing that comes up, doing that a couple times. Maybe you do it first thing in the morning and then before you go to bed. Maybe it's just getting up from behind your desk or getting up off the couch and just doing a little stretch to the side. Maybe even add in a little squat just to like get your body moving. That's going to immediately make you feel much better physically, but also mentally. It does help a lot. We have an off-ice class that we do at my rink twice a week, and that has helped a lot. It also helps like socialize because we all kind of are in the same boat here, but doing something like that like really helps a lot, and it's one thing that you can start doing today. So the second thing seems obvious, but a lot of times we forget. You need to remember to breathe. So breath work would be the second thing that I would suggest you try to get unstuck. So we'll talk about different methods of breathing and different types of breath work that you can do in future episodes, but for right now, I want you to take a big deep inhale and exhale. And as you inhale and exhale the next time, we're going to do this one more time. I want you to think of release when you're exhaling. So we're going to do a big deep breath in and release. Now, just those 2 times we did that, I'm sure you probably feel better already. So I want you to sit with yourself and inhale and exhale, thinking the word release on your exhale a couple times throughout your day. Okay, so you're consciously thinking about your breathing. Obviously you're breathing because you're alive, so I don't think that you're just sitting around holding your breath all day. But when you're actually thinking about your inhale and your exhale, it does help you recenter and refocus. So those are 2 things that you should work on today. And just before we finish, let's just do one more big deep inhale and release. Okay, I don't know about you, but I feel better. So thank you so much for listening. I hope to see you in the next episode. And I have some questions down in the description box for you to ask yourself before the next episode. Whether you journal it, open up your notes app on your phone and just kind of give yourself some answers. You don't have to share it with me. You don't have to share it with anybody. It's just for you. But if you want to share it, you're welcome to give me a DM on Instagram or drop them in the comments here. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye. Thanks so much for listening today. If you found this episode helpful, let me know in the comments. And be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. This helps other figure skaters discover my channel and also helps me decide what topics I should share with you next. Have fun out there, and I'll see you at the rink.